today's episode of the Self-With Tactics podcast. And today, as you can see in the background or on the left side, we are actually going ahead with the Millennium Fast Lane, which is the book I was discussing or talking about in yesterday's episode as well. It is quite a good book. Some things are really in my opinion, or in my point of view, but the thing is, no book could ever be just totally my point of view and totally what I would be saying, unless it's written by me. But I think there are actually some kind of things that are quite good and are, just pretty nice to hear once in your entire life, and to just remember you that there are just quite some things. So really, I don't want to say that this book is just pretty bad. In terms of the summary, it's okay. I don't know the book itself, so we will go ahead actually. We will go ahead. So, the law of affection. The law of affection says that to make a million you need to help 1 million people. The more lives you improve in scale and magnitude, the bigger your returns. And this is actually some kind of thing that I actually believe in. And my point of view, just driving for money and just really wanting to get the money is the fastest way to not get it. The thing is, and I've been talking about this so fucking often, quite a little bit, it doesn't piss me off, but it is funny, and I hope nobody pisses it off. So, at my point of view, the more people you help and the more problems you can solve, the richer you will get, which is in terms of ideas or in terms of your personality. So whether people are just keeping attention to you or not. The thing is, I think it's actually true, because if you just really drive for money, you just, really work for the money, which that means that you kind of fuck with people as well, which means that if you have a customer, for example, let's say you have a little store, a little clothing store, and a customer comes in and your only intent is to get his or her money. What would you do? You would just, sell them something, it doesn't matter what it is. And then maybe they get really, really pissed at you, so the customer, and they will never come to your fucking store again. The thing is with being nice and really looking at your customers and helping them and solving their problem is that you will actually be doing I will give you something, I will dress you really good so that you look good, and it is, in terms of my expertise, a really good dress, a really good clothing, or whatever, really good style. Doesn't matter. The thing is, they will come again because you just gave them a great amount of value, and you gave them a pretty nice experience of just, buying in your store, just talking to somebody who is actually very nice. If you're an asshole, nobody will come to your store. But at my point of view, that is actually some kind of thing in Austria, or I've just experienced it quite a little bit, that sometimes, or especially in places where there's a lot of tourism, people in stores and in restaurants and so on are just, some kind of really unfriendly. And this shouldn't be the thing. Your customer, is really making you a living. So the customer should actually be the king as well, which, at my point of view, is one of the most important things, because you rely on your fucking customers. And if you piss them off, you can just piss off your fucking money as well. But yeah, I think this is important. A lot of people don't have that in mind quite often, or it just doesn't seem to be like it. But let's go ahead with part 6. So I think the actual thing is, the law of affection is some kind of related to the law of attraction. The law of attraction is, by my meaning, or just how I interpret it, which is some kind of different to other people maybe, because the thing is, if you just Google it, you can get a lot of fucking definitions, but none of them in my point of view are just quite right. So all of them are right for some people. For me, it's not quite doing the job. So in my point of view, the law of attraction is actually giving to get something. But in my point of view, you shouldn't be always thinking I'm now giving and giving and giving so that I get someday later something back. This is also some quite the false intent. But the thing is, I always make the same example. So if you heard that the same example is coming right now. So if you're, giving love to somebody, a lot of love, to somebody that maybe is loving you right now, the actual thing is that the chances are much higher if you give them so tremendously fucking amount of love that they will especially or actually love you back. Because you gave, and then sometimes you get, or actually maybe you get something back. This is quite valid, this is, or seems to also be the same thing with money. If you just give away a lot of money in general. Yeah, sorry. If you just give away a lot of fucking money in terms of donations, in terms of donations, for example, then the actual thing is, and it seems to be like it, and I would actually, I would say that you should actually be spending around 10% of your income to really, as a donation. And I do have actually just to write something. At my point of view, you should really be donating things, because the actual thing is that if you just donate this money, you will get more money back because you're giving something. Actually, I've now been really talking about the law of attraction some kind of differently than I'm normally doing it, but it's quite well. I hope you just got what I meant and everything's quite clear. But if there is something unclear, or if there is something that really pissed you off that I was saying, please tell me in the comments, or please just DM me. There should everywhere kind of be some of my social media links, or especially in the description on Twitch. I haven't really found out where I could put all my links, but if you're on the YouTube video, there is the video description, there should be everything. And if you're on the podcast, there should be everything as well, some kind. That always depends on what platform you are. So there are so many fucking platforms who provide my fucking podcasts, or my podcast. I was astonished by it, actually, because it's Spotify, it's Google, it's what it is as well. Google, it's Stitcher, it's Radio Public, it's, I don't know, there are so many fucking platforms. And the thing is, they wouldn't be there if no one would listen to them. So there are actually people who listen to all these different kind of platforms, which is just, pretty astonishing. But let's see, part 6, your vehicle to wealth is actually you, because you are the only person who can really determine your destiny, your goals, and actually everything. And this is actually be done by your actions you take every single day. The thing is, a lot of people, just it seems for me like this, doesn't really get it. It really depends on what you do right now, this fucking day, what you will get, or who you will get in the next 7 months, 10 months, whatever. Because every single action you're doing today is really determining something. You can always decide. There are always decisions in your life. You could either be eating a burger, or you could be eating something healthy, actually. And this choice is really a big choice, actually. Even though it might seem like a quite, normal choice and not that hard one, but it actually, does so much. And, it took quite a while until I understood it. But actually, I now know that it is actually my habits and the things I do, my values, especially my values. Values are pretty important, because you should always be, making decisions based on your values and or goals. And if your values are just fucked up, so if this is fucked up, everything around will be fucked up as well. So if you have bad values, in terms of values, it is only just in terms of who you are. By me saying actually bad values is a little bit a tricky thing, because there are no bad values. If there is something that's valuable to you, it should be valuable to you, and it's I shouldn't care about if it's valuable to me or not. The thing is, if you have, I just now say bad values or bad goals, every fucking decision will be bad, because you're actually doing decisions based on your values or goals, or should be doing it, because then you really achieve them and really get to them, and so the path is pretty fucking straight. Not like if you just choose something else, then the path would have big fucking curves. Or might have. But let's see. Then Marcus says that the main element of a successful business is yourself, which is totally true. Because actually, and this is something that's also pretty important, actually something that I've really been having a great relationship to in, the last few weeks, actually, the last 2 weeks, I think, which is responsibility. When people say, yeah, you should be responsible for yourself and for those things and whatever, it quite always just seems to be around or about all the fucking same things. You should be, working and whatever. But the actual thing is, a lot of people just do really blame others for them not getting or not being at the place they really want to be. They just be like, yeah, I do not have a job because the president, just, made a bad decision and therefore my fucking industry went offline or just went away and so I do not have a job right now. Or they say, yeah, it's his failure and I shouldn't be the person who is going to be blamed. It is him who made the failure or he made the mistake and she made the mistake and every fucking body but themselves made a mistake. And this shouldn't be the case, because if you just say he made a mistake, he is the one who should be blamed and not me. You're just really creating the framework for yourself and you're really putting yourself in a position where you can't really decide for your life what happens in it. The thing is, if you just be like, yeah, I'm responsible for every fucking thing that is some sort of related to my fucking life, then you actually put yourself into a framework or in a position where you are the only person who can actually change. So you are actually the only person, but you are the person that can change everything that is happening in your life because you're responsible for everything. And this is something that really blew my fucking mind. It is so astonishing if you just really get it. If you get it, you really know what I'm talking about. If you just, you have the responsibility for everything, then you are the only person who can change it. And you aren't really, you do not need any other people's for you to be happy, for you to achieve your goals, for you to have a great relationship to your wife or whatever. It is only you, nobody else. But let's go on. He stresses the importance of ownership and taking responsibility in your life. Okay. He says that everything happening to you is because of your choices, which is actually true. And then proposes 2 methods to make choices. The worst case scenario, asking what's the worst that can happen and how likely and acceptable it is, and the weighted average decision matrix. The thing is, with the worst thing that could be happen, it is always just quite a funny thing, because we always be like, yeah, this is a pretty worst thing that could happen, and this could happen, and that could happen. But if you're actually looking at what could happen, or what is actually the worst case scenario, then we are like, oh, it isn't actually like that bad or that worse as I thought it would be. Then you just, really try the thing you really wanted to try. There is no fear anymore, because you actually can see, yeah. Let's make an example. So yeah, a lot of people are maybe feared to really go to the person and ask them out, for example. What could happen? So the best case scenario, or the weighted average decision, which is, at my point of view, something in between the best thing and the worst thing. If you just go to a person, this lady or this boy, whatever, and you really wanted him or want him or her or you want to ask him or her out, so... And the thing is, the average scenario that could be happening is that you kind of get accepted, or the offer, I don't really know the right vocabulary, but the kind of offer gets accepted or it gets not accepted. So in the middle it would be something like, he or she doesn't actually know, and so it's some kind of good and bad thing. The thing is, she doesn't say or he doesn't say that it is a no. So there's always 2 ways to look at certain things. The thing is, in terms of this one, you can always be like, yeah, he didn't say yes, so it's definitely a no, and you go away. But if he says, or you could be like, yeah, he didn't say no, so it might probably be a yes in some time from now, so I will keep pushing it and will keep being the nicest person I can actually be to just, get to my goal and do this. And yeah, period. And so the other thing is the worst case scenario, which then would be like, you get rejected. And that's it. So it might be even like, yeah, it's the love of my life and I don't know, and just, really complaining about everything and whatever. The thing is, there are so fucking many people on this fucking planet, actually 7.7 or maybe even more right now. So 7.8, I will say 7.8 billion fucking people on this planet. To really be blaming about that one person, even though we are all individuals, which is totally right. But if there is no way right now, there actually may be a way in some days in the future, or there actually might not be a way. So the thing is, it is what it is. It is not that a bad thing if you get rejected once. There will always be some other options in terms of other people, or just, trying it again and again and again some days later, or a year later, 2 years later, if this is really the person you're really willing to have in your entire life for your whole life. But yeah. The author makes fun of inspirational quotes and says that they need to build daily habits instead, which is totally true. Just looking and reading through motivational quotes and so on is just bullshit at my point of view. Even though I just quite, I quite some sort of pretty much fight internally with myself all the time. I'm making my post that I really do post something that's valuable for some people. The thing is, I don't even know what people need. This is the biggest problem I'm having right now. I don't know what people need. But if I would know what people actually need, I would definitely do 10, 20, 30 episodes and posts and everything about it, so that every fucking person, and I actually would do my fucking research if I do not know it yet or by now, and I would actually produce the content these people need. But the thing is, just, really looking at or reading through motivational posts and everything, like, this is only something that's happening to you in like 2-3 seconds. And then afterwards you just forget it. And you will live your life like you've always done. The thing is, actually, I was just a little bit thinking, by motivational quotes, you can actually be making habits out of them if they are just, good things or good explanations of things or whatever. Then you could actually be doing or making habits out of these motivational quotes. But the thing is, just to make it a little bit short right now, do it. Do not think about it. Do not read about it. Just do it. At my point of view, and this is something I've been really experiencing, and I've been going through a lot of fucking theory in the last 3 months, at my point of view, and actually the last year, actually. The thing is, by just doing something, you get some kind of other knowledge, another type of knowledge, a pretty deeper one and a pretty, actually more practical one, which is pretty obvious, but it's different, and it's something that I would really give to people if I could. But the thing is, you just have to do it yourself and have to make the process yourself, because it's the thing, like, yeah, you're talking about or you're thinking about making a YouTube channel, but actually doing something and actually recording everything and whatever and editing it and these things, these are way different than some other problems will occur and you have to solve them, and there's so much that could be happening. And so he also mentions the famous suggestion from the richest man in Babylon that you should pay yourself first, but that's impossible as an employee because your salary comes already curtailed by taxes. To pay yourself first, you need to start a corporation instead, which is the same advice from Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I've never pretty gotten why you should be actually paying yourself first. The thing is, I do not understand it actually. I don't understand it. The thing, it makes some kind of sense if you just, the first thing you do is just pay yourself and then you just pay everything else. So the thing is, you are really kind of contributing yourself at first and doing all the fucking other shit just sometime later. This seems to be okay, but the thing is, in my point of view, it doesn't matter whether you're. Yeah, it kind of does. I just wanted to say that it doesn't matter whether you're, giving the money for you now or you're just giving it at the end of the month. The thing is, if you calculate it correctly, there is nothing, I think, at my point of view, or just as I'm thinking about it right now, there is nothing to be feared of. So if you just really can calculate it, so with your expenses and your income and what you have to pay every month, it should then be actually the same amount of money you would get if you just, really pay yourself first or just pay you last. The thing is, if you're pretty shitty at calculating, which would be the thing for me actually, and there will always be some kind of, payments to occur just really accidentally or just, out of nowhere suddenly, this then may fuck you up because then you haven't paid yourself if you just need this money to buy some other things. And then it really comes up to a plan, to really make you a plan for what you spend your money on, the money you set aside to really have some kind of buffer to or pillar, whatever, to just really something to use if something is happening or you have an accident or whatever, so that you just have some kind of money to pay these things, the hospital costs or whatever. So the thing is, then it really comes up to how you can plan it. And this then actually makes sense if you just pay yourself first with a great plan, and so that there's room for everything. So yeah, so I don't know. Long story short, I'm talking quite a lot today. Long story short, I don't know. Yeah. Wasted time. MG talks about people spending hours playing Facebook games or watching TV. This is actually a thing which is pretty funny at my point of view, because it's actually a lot of people just say, yeah, all these young people are just on social media all the time and whatever. But the thing is, most of the people just be like, yeah, this is just, my leisure time. This is just what I'm doing because of fun, and I'm actually not doing anything else besides that. And they do not actually see the business behind it. The thing is, my YouTube, my social media, my everything is a business for me. It's making a lot of fun for me. I do not want to say that it's something I actually do not really like and I do it because of the money. No way. I'm actually doing it because it's fun for me, and I know that I can build something with it, and I know that I can really contribute other people in my process by giving them free value. And I think I will never, and hopefully never, be such a fucking person who is giving away just, or has some kind of, there is a course for $90 in which I really try to learn you or teach you how you can do this and or that or whatever. I think this is totally shit. By just, at my point of view, by just giving away free things, giving away free knowledge, giving away, free things. This is actually the best way to, first of all, brand, to really get your audience to expand and so on, because, everyone is interested in knowledge. The thing is, there is actually something I've been thinking about it quite long lately, because I was like, would I do it the same thing? Would I just make a course as well? But then I was like, the actual thing is that if people get something for free, they do not act like it is something valuable. And this is the biggest problem about it. And this is why certain people online and on social media who actually have courses be like, I'm just, selling them because people wouldn't listen to me if this whole content was free. And this actually makes sense, because if you just really, just have to pay 10k for a fucking program or fucking course, you will fucking take it seriously. But if you're getting it for free, in daily contents, maybe in books that are not that expensive and so on, like for example Gary Vee is doing, people won't maybe act on it or act using it or just use it. this is the thing, and this is actually what I believe, and I think it is actually some kind of even scientifically proven. I don't know. I think it just makes for me so much sense that I just think of it like, yeah, it should be proven or whatever. But, um, but yeah, this is the only downside of just giving away free stuff. But the upsides are just, pretty immersive and pretty tremendous. So they're just really overdoing the other things. So, at my point of view, you should give away your value or your knowledge or whatever you have for free, because it is important. Not important, but it is a pretty good way to grow and to let other people grow, actually. But yeah. But what I initially wanted to say is that a lot of people just see young people, if they're on social media or playing games or whatever, yeah, this is wasted time if you just use it as wasted time. If you're just recording every fucking session you're playing on FIFA or Madden or whatever you're playing, the thing is that you can actually make money out of it. And a lot of old people especially do not really know this, and so they are like, yeah, uh, they are just having their fun with playing video games and they should work right now. And then it was actually the same thing if I just, or as I was just seeing a Ninja interview. So this really famous by now Fortnite streamer and player. And just have to plug in my fucking PC because it would just turn itself off if I wouldn't. So the thing is, a lot of people are just like, yeah, a Ninja. If they talk with Ninja and they actually see that he is making 500 fucking K, I think a year or a month. I think it was actually a month because it was so a fucking amount of money that he is making by just streaming and playing video games, that a lot of old people just are like, wow, they're just really, really blown away. And actually, I can really just, visualize that some certain old people or older people just might be like, yeah, this is actually unfair, which is, a lot of people think of it because they are just really greedy. Not greedy, there's another word, but they just really want the same thing as you're having, but they haven't, put in the work, some kind of in the background. So this is this word that I'm just referring to right now. But the actual thing is, people are just then blown away and just find it some kind of unfair, and I don't know. But there is some hard work behind this one. It's especially time, but the thing is, if you're doing something, out of love, it doesn't feel like time. So now for me, it's a little bit hard, at certain times and at certain time points, because with speaking, I quite have a hard time with speaking, even though it is something I really, really love. The thing is, my English isn't in terms of speaking not that well, and in terms of using, some kind of different vocabulary in sentences and so on. But yeah, I work on it, and this is actually the fastest way and the best way to work on it, by just talking with the text and really, going through a text. But yeah, so yes, it is wasted time if you just do not do anything with it and you're just playing it because it's fun for you and whatever. Yeah. He says those people are escaping their lives because their lives is not exciting. This is actually the truth. And so if you're just doing it to, really escape your lives because they are shitty and you aren't really motivated about them or happy about them, then you should actually be doing this thing that you're just doing right now to escape your fucking life. You should be doing this as a business, and you should be quite monetizing it so that you can do something you're actually liking, or it seems to be that you're liking it. You can actually do it as a job, and you will never have, you will never ever have again another time where you feel like your life is kind of, wasted or whatever. But yeah. Time and depth. The authors say anytime you buy something too expensive for your income, you are giving up time, because it is actually, I've used this quote or this sign section of this article for a post, because it's actually true. The thing is, yeah, you can buy something and get with it in depth, or just, use your credit card or whatever. The thing is, it takes so a fucking amount of time to just work this amount of money back. And this is just something that a lot of people do not see. And I just, it's, it makes sense because they're just, using the card, buying a new car, sliding one time through this fucking thing, whatever it is called, and then they actually have this car, or they, sign something, whatever. But the thing is, they don't actually, really think about, what this short-term satisfaction is, making to them, or just, what kind of effect it has on them. The thing is, they really have then to work this fucking amount of money off. And, you know, yeah, this is just a lot of fucking time. This is the thing about it. Time and money. The authors say that many people spend lots of time to save a little money, taking a layover flight to save 100 and driving 2 hours to save $20 is stupid. Your time is the most precious resource and you can't buy it back. Time-wise, we are all on a sinking ship and you should be keeping that in mind. So here's another difference between slow laners and fast laners. Slow laners are frugal with money and fast laners are frugal with time. The thing is, some kinda yeah. Because the actual thing is, time is something that everybody has. This is a resource everybody has. And not everybody has money or, the right amount of money to just, put something on scale so that you actually can be like, yeah, no, I'm actually not going to work anything because, yeah, I do have 25,000 employees and these are just working for me. They are just working for me. No fucking beginner has the money for this. And so the actual thing, and the only thing you can actually be doing is using your fucking time. And this is actually what I'm doing. I'm not getting anything in terms of money from this, what I'm doing right now. No, I'm not getting. But it's fun for me, first of all. And second of all, I know that this will work out someday later. Yeah, this is what I know. Because if I just do it every day, if I just, be consistent and be patient and whatever, then there will be the time where, I just, by the end of the next year, on Instagram alone, I do have fucking 2,000 posts. And there's no way I didn't get any attention through 2,000 posts, which are actually valuable and, there's just, providing some good knowledge for people. And so, it's just about patience. But the thing is, if you have the money, then actually using your money in terms of scaling your business, in terms then of just saving your time, because actually having 25 employees is better than you working 25 times the time they are working, which means that if you just have 25 employees, you actually have 25 times more multiplied, so 25 times 24, just in terms of, they could be actually working 24 hours a day. Practically not, theoretically yes. The thing is, then you actually have what it is. What is it? What did I say? 25 times 24. You have 600 hours a day of people working, or working power, as I would say. And this is quite a lot, and this is something you couldn't do on your own with your own time. So there will definitely be a time or some time point in your life or in your business where you just have to scale or have to get employees or however you're going to scale. But commitment, and especially, or just, some kind of fun fact, scaling was actually some of these terms I've never understood as well. I was always like, what do you mean by scaling? What is it? What should I do? So it is actually, at my point of view, or as I know it, is like, you have a company and you're using your money to get more money. So you put in more money to get more money out of it, which is then just, an endless kind of circle. And practically, if you just then fuck it up once and you put in a lot of money, you do not get back anything. It is a little bit of fuck part. But commitment. The fast lane process is not easy, it requires commitment. The author differentiates between interest and commitment. Interest reads a book, commitment implies that book 50 times. Commitment is staying at it for long hours and through failure and failure. This is true. And, actually I've been thinking about really not doing this anymore. So the whole motivation thing, and I was quite a long time thinking about if it is actually the right thing I should do or if it's just the best thing I could do. And then I quite have seen that, what should I be doing instead? There is just nothing quite the same that there are other things I could do. I just could have my own products. I could have my own web store, which is actually something I wanted to do before, but the thing is, it didn't work out with Shopify in terms of me paying actually the bills before it and so on. And so this was everything a little bit fucked up. But then I just decided through Gary Vee that I actually start this channel and this journey. And I had my bad times as well. It was actually 2 days ago where it was like, yeah, I do not know, if it is really worth the time and so on. And most of the people I've been talking to are actually like, yeah, I wouldn't, I wouldn't do this because, so in terms of not me really telling that I shouldn't be doing this, but they wouldn't actually be doing it because it takes so much fucking time out of your life, which is nothing bad for me because I was always, or quite always like, even though I do have something to do, then I'm quite bored because I'm actually pretty fucking quickly bored of something because I've actually seen that most creative people are like this, that they just, have to do something all the time unless they're really, really fucking tired. And this is the same thing with me. I'm not someone who could sleep during the day for 12 hours or whatever. This is not who I am. I really want to do something and I really want to work on something. And this was actually a good way to just do it. Yeah. And there is also a note from the author of this article, which is my note. The Marco is talking about grit here, and I invite you to read the wonderful Grit by Angela Duckworth for more, which is actually, it is a pretty nice cover first of all, but yeah. But I might go through it. I went through it, in my leisure time alone, but I wasn't really quite, amazed by it. So, I really want to only go through books and or articles or whatever that are actually some kind of, valuable for me and or for you, and which are actually good. And I think these things are true, and they're actually worth going through them. Yeah, I will definitely go through the whole one today. So, the roads to wealth. The Marco says you must not worry if someone else is doing the same you're doing, but you must worry about doing it better than everyone else. He writes that a good business must obey 5 commandments. Yeah, commandments. The first commandment is the commandment of need. You must start a business to solve a need or a problem people have. Need of the people, not your needs. That's why the Marco says that the advice of follow your passion is a terrible advice. Which is, as I was going through this summary and or this article, I actually was thinking like, yeah, this is actually a bad advice in terms of this. But if you're just working on something you actually do not like and you really hate because you actually see, or because only you see that people, need these informations and need this expertise, and you're really, quite doing it because of this reason, I do not really know if it would work out for you. It will work out for you if you're really willing to get that money only. But this is something that I won't suggest you to do. Because at my point of view, and in terms of my experience and what a lot of people are just saying, also just not people that are in business, just regular, keep attention to the tone of my voice, regular people are telling this as well, that you should be doing something that makes you happy, because you won't, like to be working on this if it's just something that you do not care about. But yeah. However, he also says that passion is important for success, and he does suggest to do what you love. Thank you. The commandment of control. If anyone can change something and send your business in a tailspin, you're not in control. As an employee, you're not in control, which makes sense, yeah. Some sort of, if you're a CEO, which is actually some kind of employee, because the firm or the company actually, sees him as an employee, you have some kind of control over the whole company, some sort of. Or if your website is all your income and you get all leads from Google and AdWords, then you're too heavily dependent on Google, which is actually something I've been talking about quite a lot lately, that you shouldn't really be doing and now I'm quite quoting Warren Buffett, that you shouldn't be only doing, your eggs in one basket, because there are a lot of things around. And this is something that I've been quite strategic about, because at my point of view, I should never be only relying on Instagram or never only be relying on YouTube. And this is actually the reason why I quite started to live stream. Besides the fact that it is a great fucking way to really, get to know other people, or, just get a little bit more exposure. And but actually, if not Facebook, but YouTube goes down, I actually do have Twitch as well. And the thing is, yeah. Uh, so yeah, and the commandment of scale, the more you can scale your business, the more you can earn, which makes sense. And the thing is, this is something I found pretty fucking interesting. Gary Vee has an agency in terms of marketing. He has quite a marketing agency, some sort of, he has quite a lot of businesses, but this is some kind of his main thing, but this is not scalable. And he has also said this one in an interview, this is not scalable because it is client work, and you can only do a certain amount of client work. Even if you have just really a lot of employees, you can some sort of scale it, but you can never be like, you put more money into it to just work more or get more in return, because it is client work. It is something else with a product. So if you have, for example, I don't know, if you have something that's ringing around, what is this called? A lighter. If you have a lighter, you have a lighting business, a lighter business. You could actually be doing like, you're putting more money into marketing, into working marketing, and then you get more money out of it because more people see it and so on. And then you just use the money, you just, profited, and then you use it again for marketing and just get more money and more money and more money. So this is actually the thing of scaling something. So a street corner coffee shop is not scalable as it's limited in the amount of people it can reach and host on the premises. A course online is scalable instead because people from all over the world can access it at the same time. The fifth one is the commandment of time. If you want to enjoy life and win back time to do all other activities you enjoy, if it is actually something you need, because if you're doing something you are enjoying or working on something that you're enjoying, you do not need this. But you must be able to eventually automate your business or have it run without you, which is actually just, building up a business, working in for 10 years, then, getting a great CEO and just let him do the work, and you get a lot of money out of it. And if he's, doing it well, and all these officers in your company are doing it well, actually everything is good. So it's actually something I really noticed that is so fucking bad for me to sit all day long. Just have to move, and after this episode I will definitely be working out. Part 8, the accelerate wealth. The Marco says your real boss is always the person who pays you for your products or your customers. And in business, DeMarco says you should choose monogamy. Don't spread yourself thin or divide your resources over several different ventures. Stick to one and grow that one until you succeed. Which I think, if he means that you should not be doing a lot of products, some half-assed way, besides, the other one. So you should actually not be doing like, I do have my social media profiles now and my personal brand right now, so I will definitely be doing like, another product brand or something. Yes, this could work, and if it in terms of you really like, creating stuff, and you like to, make new stuff, it is actually a good idea. So you could then be like, and this is something I have from Gary Vee, you can actually be like, you put 80% of your time into your main business and the thing you're just willing to grow, and you're really, this is just your main thing. But then you just use the other 20% of the time to just, quite some kind of mess around with something else, to just be like, yeah, because you're interested in it and just want to see if this is working, and, maybe something goes out of it. Actually, this could always happen. But the real life applications of the author switch from consumer to producer mentally, which is a pretty important thing, because a lot of people are just consuming, and so you have actually the choice, whatever you're producing, that somebody is really enjoying what you're doing. So start ahead right after this episode, please. Just something. Start your first Instagram page if you do not have one. If you have one, make your posts or just comment on other people's posts and like them and be social. Just this is important. Money versus time. Time is your most important resource. Don't trade your time for money. Use money to buy more time instead. If you have the money, yes. Stop listening to gurus. Stop listening to gurus who didn't make their money with their own tips. They didn't get rich giving up a coffee a day or using their own material. They're getting rich selling you that material, which is always some kind of thing to really look after, yeah. To the fast lane. If you want to get rich, give up your damn boring job and start your business. Yeah, as I was saying in the last episode, or the first part of this article, it is always just like, yeah, being rich is something that's really subjective. You can actually be rich in terms of your, mental game, and you can pretty much be rich because of your wealth game. Makes sense, yeah. The thing is, having a lot of money is some kind of, some people, are like 100k are just a lot of money to earn in a month, which is totally a lot of money. But for some people, it has to be 1 million. And so you can actually make the 100k a year or even way more if you are an employee. If you are, a high positioned employee in a good company, or just well company, a well-doing company, this would definitely work. Should I go through the cons and the pros? Yeah, authors bashing is one of the cons, which is I found the bashing of the industry's gurus hilarious, at times also on point, but I personally found a bit of out of place the critique to Kiyosaki, as the message of the two books is far from antithetic, and at times it's actually quite similar. Education bashing. I agree education is not a prerequisite for success. However, I wouldn't go as far as the author does in discounting its utility. What most authors like the market don't consider is that university is not just a place to get information, but also a place where to make social experience. Which is actually right. And you definitely need some kind of education or some kind of knowledge to just be doing, or just, really creating your business, at my point of view. Because you can't make a fucking business out of nowhere without knowing anything. Yeah, you could actually do it by just doing it. This would work, but yeah. I'll actually go through the review as well. So The Millionaire Fastline is one of the most underrated books I've ever read. Some parts really spoke to me. I've been conditioned to be a slow laner all my life. I grew up with the idea that the slow lane is what serious people do, and that diverging from that path is for good for nothing woo-woo people. Okay, if you think about it, most of us feel the pressure of the slow lane. Who do we respect? Who do recruits look for in a CV? Consistency, but too often that means consistency of employment. The guy who held a job for years, the guy who kept his head down the longest. I also really enjoyed the Marcus writing style. He's rebellious, biting, and irreverent, whatever. Of course, there are parts that are not as groundbreaking, like when it tries to be an how-to book and discusses which field to start a business. That's not as powerful, and there is a part I don't fully agree with. Like, the main determinant of sales is marketing and not the product itself. It's actually both, and marketing is as actually also branding. If the author of the article is referring to it as the product, people always are like, yeah, marketing is always or only selling, and that's bullshit. It's also branding and just image and all these things. A lot of companies are just, or have to do some marketing campaigns because they fuck something up and have to put their image right and so on. But it's a 5-star book, as it gives many people the theoretical foundation and proverbial kick in the butt to step off the employee's rat race. And this is actually the end of the summary. And this is actually also the end of this episode. I hope you get a lot of information, I got a lot of value out of it, and I hope you quite just enjoyed it being with me. And today there will, I hope, be another episode, and I hope I will do one, and I hope, I won't be too lazy, but maybe, I probably will do another one. But I hope everything is right. I hope you are really, really fucking happy. And this is, the thing I really hope you to be. And I really wish you to be, and really invite you to be. Because, at certain times we really want ourselves to be some kind of unhappy, I guess. But I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you later, maybe. And I wish you luck, and I wish you everything good. And I'll see you later to the stream people and to the recording people or the episode people. See you later.